Worried about gout? Check out Ural, the effective urinary alkalinizer for gout.
Good evening, I'm your host Camelia and you're watching KiniNews. Pakatan Harapan chairperson Anwar Ibrahim has claimed that he was very close to becoming the country's #1 leader. According to Anwar, he would have been the PM if he had rejected principles. Pakatan Harapan chairperson Anwar Ibrahim has claimed that he could have been the Prime Minister after Muhyiddin Yassin if he was flexible on issues of principle. Anwar said this while denying claims that he is hungry to become Prime Minister. According to Anwar, there was a political crisis following Muhyiddin's fall and he was very close to becoming the country's #1 leader. He added that he had one foot on the way to the Istana Negara to take the oath the next day. However, he said that night Najib Abdul Razak had asked him to sign a certificate to guarantee that he would be free from punishment for his criminal charges. He said he couldn't do it because this is a matter of principle. In August 2021, Muhyiddin was forced to resign as Prime Minister when 15 Umno MPs withdrew their support for his government. Prior to that, Anwar had announced that he had strong support for parliamentarians, including those from outside Harapan, to be appointed as Prime Minister. However, the Umno parliamentarians involved shifted their support from Anwar after BN and Perikatan Nasional agreed to appoint Ismail Sabri to replace Muhyiddin. Anwar claimed that the change in support would not have happened if he submitted to Najib's request. Pakatan Harapan will be announcing their candidates for GE15 soon and Anwar has hinted that they could be fielding Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Syari as the candidate for the Gombak parliamentary seat. Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Syari could be fielded as Pakatan Harapan's candidate for the Gombak parliamentary seat in the 15th general election. This was hinted by Pakatan Harapan chairperson Anwar Ibrahim at the Selangor State Mega Harapan Tour in Kuala Selangor last night.
Itu kerja Amir lah, nak jaga Gombak. Kita hantar Panglima Utama Selangor untuk berdepan di Gombak. Ya. Ya. Sudah. Dia bukan pengumuman rasmi. Rasmi 28 bulan.
Anwar added that he had discussed it with Amiruddin, who had said that he was the commander and can defend it for Harapan. Previously, incumbent Gombak MP Azmin Ali had stated his desire to defend the seat in GE15. Azmin has held the Gombak parliamentary seat for 3 terms, which he won under the PKR ticket. Outgoing Klang MP Charles Santiago has urged his supporters to rally behind V Ghana Batiro, who DAP has chosen to take his place in Klang in GE15. Outgoing Klang MP Charles Santiago has urged his supporters to continue to vote for Pakatan Harapan in the upcoming general election. In a statement to his supporters, Charles expressed certainty that his successor in Klang, V Ghana Batiro, shares his and his electorate's ideals. He said he was sure his successor shared the same dream for the country and needed their support. He added that he knew many in Klang are upset that he was not fielded again, but he is sure that they are better than the anger. Charles also thanked voters in Klang for their support. He added that he will be pushing Harapan's message to vote out UMNO and all corrupt politicians, as Malaysians deserve better. DAP had announced its decision to field Ghana Batiro in Klang during a fundraising dinner yesterday night. The announcement puts to rest weeks of speculation on whether Charles would be given the opportunity to serve his 4th term as Klang MP. Tommy Thomas has filed a legal action to strike down the Special Task Force report over his book, My Story, Justice in the Wilderness. Former Attorney General Tommy Thomas has filed a legal action to challenge the report by a special task force that investigated the contents of his memoir. Thomas filed the originating summons at the Kuala Lumpur High Court earlier today. In his affidavit of support, Thomas, as the plaintiff, claimed that the special task force formed in October last year was an illegal body. He alleged that this is because the special task force's chairperson and its members were not appointed under any written law. He also claimed that the report was published with intent to harm his reputation with false and baseless allegations and done in order to annoy, abuse, threaten, or harass him. Among the reliefs sought by Thomas is a declaration that the task force is an unlawful body with no authority in law and that the report is an illegal document unauthorized by the law. The report was made available to the public through the Prime Minister's Department Legal Affairs Division on October 21st. This came following caretaker Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob announcing its declassification after a decision made by the Cabinet on September 30th.
Lim Kuan Eng is threatening to sue incumbent Pasir Salak MP Tajuddin Abdul Rahman over his remarks that the MOF had become like a Chinese temple when he was the minister.
Former Finance Minister Lim Kuan Eng said he will be taking legal action against incumbent Pasir Salak MP Tajuddin Abdul Rahman for defamation. This is over Tajuddin's claim that the Finance Ministry had become like a Chinese temple that was unwelcoming to Malays during Lim's time in the ministry. In a press conference today, Lim said his lawyers will be sending a letter of demand to Tajuddin. He said he was forced to take legal action as this was clearly defamation. Lim did not disclose the terms of the letter of demand or how much time he will give Tajuddin to respond once it was sent. He added that this was a clear attempt to make the 2015 general election campaign a racial one. He said politicians should instead be focusing on issues such as the ringgit's decline against the US dollar instead of campaigns that centered around race and religion. During a Sinar Harian forum last week, Tajuddin had accused Lim of sidelining Malays at the Finance Ministry. Tajuddin had alleged that the Finance Ministry's office was transformed to look like a Chinese temple and many went in wearing shorts.
The Kuala Lumpur High Court has dismissed Najib Abdul Razak's bid to attend Parliament on the grounds that the application is now academic and has no merit.
Najib Abdul Razak has failed in his legal bid to be allowed to attend the now-dissolved Parliament. The Kuala Lumpur High Court dismissed the incumbent Pakatan MP's leave application to commence the judicial review. In reading his judgment, Judge Ahmad Kamal Muhammad Shahid emphasized that the subject matter of the judicial review is akin to water under the bridge. Kamal noted that among the relief sought is for the applicant to be allowed to attend the Dewan Rakyat sitting initially scheduled from October 3rd to November 29th. He said that it was academic upon the dissolution of Parliament and thus the legal action is frivolous and vexatious. Najib, who is serving a 12-year jail sentence over a corruption case involving 42 million ringgit of funds from SRC International, had filed the judicial review leave application on October 5th. During a hearing of the matter previously, the Attorney General's Chamber's legal team orally submitted that the legal action is academic as the Dewan Rakyat was dissolved on October 10th. Through the legal action, Najib was seeking a court order to have access to his parliamentary officers in order for him to do his work as an MP and secondly, for him to attend Parliament on the scheduled session dates. Najib's lead counsel Muhammad Shafi Abdullah informed the court that they would be appealing to the Court of Appeal.
Abdul Aziz Bari, who had originally considered running in Tambun, said that it is a relief that Anwar will be contesting in the seat instead.
Outgoing Perak State Assembly opposition leader Abdul Aziz Bari said he is relieved that PKR President Anwar Ibrahim will lead the charge in Tambun. Aziz, who had originally considered running in the Tambun parliamentary seat himself, told Malaysia Kini that Anwar is Pakatan Harapan number 1 with the caliber and charisma to attract the voters. He said he was there initially as leader of the state opposition and noticed that there was no one working on the ground. He added that when Anwar came, it was a relief as he could now focus on the state. Aziz said that Harapan's strategy of making Perak a frontline state was a logical move. He said it was realistic because they had been in charge of the state on 2 occasions for 11 months in 2008 and 22 months in 2018 to 2020. Aziz, however, declined to comment on who Harapan would be pushing as its candidate for the Perak Menteri Besar post. He said the idea should be to win first and settle posts later and added that the people are aware of their capabilities.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Kimilia. Thanks for watching.